Hey, you Kit Kats. Rules are made to be broken, and good news, all of history's rules were broken, and it's all thanks to this one lovely little boy. Genghis Khan, the big baddie with a triple thick fatty himself. Born Temujin, but we don't use government names here, which is all par for the course for this friendly fellow because his birth name is about all we really know about his birth. Sources place his birth between 1155 and 1167, which is just an absolute crazy range for estimating someone's birth. Who's this baby? What's this baby? How old are you? 12? Similarly, we can say for sure he was born somewhere in this region. Genghis was born to a local chieftain and his favorite wife, which I guess proves romance isn't completely dead. I mean, Timapapi did steal Timamama from her last husband by force, but hey, we all do stupid things for love. It's a good thing Genghis had such a sensible father too, because when he was about 8 years old, his dad took him over to the neighboring chieftain to negotiate a betrothal between the neighbor's daughter and Genghis. The thing is, the neighbor knew that Genghis's Papa Bear needed strong allies like him, so he wasn't gonna roll over in negotiations. Sure, they can get married, but the boy stays here to work off the cost of the dowry. You sure? Yes. Pfft, and some losers are paying child support. Thinking he had just discovered the art of the deal, Genghis's dad hopped on his horse and hobbied on home, but being the brilliant strategic mind he was, halfway home got a little rumbly in his tumblies. No worries, there are some guys from that clan I've slaughtered time and time again in past raids passing by right now. I'm sure they'll spare a bite to eat, he thought, and somehow actually had the gall to go up and ask. No, we're not going to give— Hey! Psst, 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 psst. Yes, come eat with us. So on his way home, he started feeling pretty terrible, and then when Genghis's big brain papa got home, he finally realized. Oh, poison. Hey you, go get my son. And then he pooped out his everything. This was big bad, as little Genghis was still, well, little. And no one would have a 10-year-old for a ruler, or a 12-year-old half-brother who feels he has the right to his father's inheritance, but I'm sure that won't be a problem later. So anyhoozle, with no clear ruler, many clans dispersed under other leadership until Better, the ironically named older half-brother of Genghis, started to get some ideas. Sure, Genghis was the son of his father's favorite wife, so perhaps he has a claim. But if Better marries Dad's favorite wife, then Genghis is Better's son and— Roll Tide! Anyone else hearing that? Genghis didn't want to be his brother's son, the ungrateful child that he was, and teamed up with his little brother to, using the power of friendship, family, and teamwork, prune the family tree. Scrapping for power at a young age, Genghis was surely captured more times than were recorded, but we do know that he always found his way out by constantly rolling nat 20s to charm bystanders, enemies, and a few promiscuous horses. When he turned 15, he went and got married to— this name. The girl his dad had gotten him betrothed to before he tried to pull that old ask your mortal enemy for a sandwich trick. Pretty soon after hearing that little old Jengi boy had returned, some other guy that had been teed off by Jengi's dad showed up and took his new wife. Jengi mad, so he went and made their everything gone. Foreshadowing. When he rescued his now pregnant wife, no worries about that. He took that chin punch with a solid shrug of the shoulders and raised the son that popped out as his own. Which could be due to him being just a stand-up good guy, or could be due to, other reasons. Regardless, pretty soon everyone around him was starting to say, this Genghis guy, pretty swell, and should be the Khan of all the Mongols or whatever. And we can tell this went well because all the favorable sources mention nothing of what happened after this. But the one source we do have on what he was doing during this time was a Chinese source. One that wouldn't have been later rewritten, saying that he was working the corner for the Jin dynasty. Almost 10 years of historical silence later, or what modern women refer to as just a phase they went through in college, good guy Genghis popped back up on the field of battle. Battles that were elevating his status among his friends and enemies. It also didn't hurt Genghis' rise to power that his contemporaries were boiling 70 prisoners alive. Allegedly. I don't believe a trial was ever held, but with the court of public opinion decided, many figured that that guy with pretty lipstick, probably a better fella to follow around. With his new strength in numbers and confidence in his own hype, Genghis was sweeping dubs left and right, offing his opposing leaders and taking all their followers as his. This led to a lot of fun instances of strong "you're not my real dad" activity. Jengi, the old softy, absolutely loved his horse. All Mongols do, you know. One thing everyone knows about the Mongols, horse is good. So you can imagine the emotion when Ghengis steps outside the yurt to check the meter on his horse and, "Hey, who killed my horse?" "I did." "You. You're a stand-up guy. Cheers for telling the truth, my guy. You're getting a promotion." Now, there were just 3 powers left on the steppes. The Naimans, the Carrot, and the Mongols, and I only know how to pronounce one of those, so Ghengis better get to counting those bad boys real quick-like. And that he did. Once some marriage negotiations broke down on account of no one thinking Ghengis' kid was his kid, tensions escalated into a massive battle which Ghengis solidly lost. Desperate, Ghengis gathered all of his allies and swore to them a pledge. Temujin raised his hands and looking up at heaven swore, saying, "If I am able to achieve my great work, I shall always share with you men the sweet and the bitter. If I break this word, may I be like the water of the river, drunk up by others." Reinvigorated now with all the power of God and anime at his back, Ghengis swept through the remaining powers of the steppe. Then, it's just easy fill-in-the-blank history of how this turned into this.